Questions raised over the location of homeless supports, why some feel too many are on the west side of Saskatoon. A former sergeant testifies what the fired officer says about his friendship with a gang associate. And probing the pay of health authority executives, why a Saskatchewan union has its eye on their raises.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. A union representing hospital support workers is upset that top executives with the Saskatchewan Health Authority have received raises while union members have gone without a pay increase for 3 years. Today, workers held a rally in Regina to pressure the government for a new contract. Wayne Mantika was there.
Dave Eager is a healthcare support worker who spent years working 3 jobs as he worked his way up at the hospital.
I had 3 jobs from like 2001 till 2 years ago, and now I'm just down to 1 working supervisor. Because of my age, I'm getting a little older. I'm only working 1 job. It was very tiresome.
Now he's watching other workers go through what he did.
And our wage is very low, and then they're going to work another part-time or full-time job at minimum wage, and they're still not making ends meet.
CUPE represents 14,000 members in the healthcare sector who work in areas like radiology, dietary services, care aides, and custodial duties. They have not received a raise since their last contract expired in 2023. Yet say some SHA executives have received salary increases ranging from 10 to 14%.
Meanwhile, the provincial government has allowed senior executives from the health authority to laugh all the way to the bank as workers are forced to use the food bank.
In a written statement, the SHA says out-of-scope pay bands have not increased since April 1st, 2022. Any adjustments in out-of-scope salaries is the result of progression within the existing pay bands. It notes that unionized salaries are adjusted in a similar fashion. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Representatives for the federal government were in Saskatoon today announcing plans to increase the supply of affordable housing in Canada and a new agency called Build Canada Homes. The feds want to get homes built faster. Secretary of State for Rural Development Buckley Boulanger announced a top-up of $1.5 billion in loans to the Affordable Housing Fund. The Rapid Housing Substream will pull $385 million in funding from future years. The Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation will deliver the funding.
We want to build thousands of homes, and that target is really ambitious, and we can achieve it faster, quicker, better if we have more private sector engagement, we have more provincial partners, territorial partners, and more like, for example, the community organizations that would utilize this program. The more partners we have, the faster we can build and the more we can build.
The federal government says the $1.5 billion top-up will support the creation of over 5,000 new units across the country. 2 boys are facing serious charges after a man reported being threatened with a gun in Saskatoon. The man told police he was walking on Rushholme Road near Avenue Q North yesterday afternoon when he was confronted by a group of youth who threatened him with a gun. The man was able to get away and call for help. Police found the suspects nearby with a fake gun. 2 boys aged 12 and 13 are facing charges of uttering death threats and attempted robbery with a firearm. The 13-year-old boy is also facing charges related to having a weapon and concealing it. A 3rd person has been charged in a shooting that injured an 11-year-old girl in Regina last month. Emergency crews were called to a home in the Queen City at 2 o'clock the morning of August 11th. Police discovered the girl had been shot in her own home. Regina police have now charged a 41-year-old man with multiple charges, including attempted murder and reckless discharge of a firearm. Earlier this week, 2 other men aged 18 and 20 were charged in the shooting. Questions are being raised over a recent election on a Saskatchewan First Nation. Mick Favel on the concern being raised.
A number of members from Zagame and Anishinaabe are raising concerns over a recent election held on their nation.
We want to determine some kind of legitimacy to the elections that's taken place. We feel that their electoral term is over and that they have no legal recourse with which to act. And all of those things they are doing are in contradiction to fair and just governance.
On September 6th, a new chief and council were elected in accordance with the Zagame Anishinaabe Election Act. The act was voted on the nation in April and passed, allowing for electronic voting to be included in future elections. A week before the election took place, Indigenous Services Canada notified the nation not to use the new act as it had not yet been reviewed by ISC and a new chief and council would not be recognized. Zagame went ahead with the election anyways. When asked for comment, Chief Lynn Akus sent a statement saying, "The Zagame Anishinaabe Elections Act meets or exceeds the requirements of the First Nations Elections Act, and the election was conducted fairly and transparently." In a statement to CTV News, ISC said it recognizes the named chief and councillors as being elected, though a ministerial order to formally remove the nation from the First Nations Act has not been obtained, and the department is working with the nation to support this transition. Adding, they are aware of the concerns raised about the election, but do not have the authority to investigate or decide on First Nation election matters.
We support sovereignty, but sovereignty has to be done in a fair, just, and legal way. This is not sovereignty. This is not done fair or legally. This process was wrong, and it should not be happening to anybody else across Canada.
ISC says the election can still be appealed within 30 days. In the meantime, Zagame says the newly elected chief and council acknowledge members' concerns and welcome respectful engagement. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
Now to concern over the locations of Saskatoon's homeless supports. Some questioning if too many services are concentrated on Saskatoon's west side. Keenan Sorokon reports.
Why does the city of Saskatoon treat the homeless population and the homeless issue like a West Side issue, not a Saskatoon issue?
That question was a topic of conversation at this week's information session about the new 60-bed shelter coming to Saskatoon next fall. With the province and city partnering on more initiatives to respond to homelessness, more people are wondering why here.
I think that we need more shelters within the city. I do believe we need services on the east side.
Homeless encampments have been seen in 70 neighborhoods across Saskatoon this year, but a majority of them are concentrated in the west side, with Pleasant Hill accounting for the most. But the city isn't the one opening social supports.
They could operate on 8th Street. They could operate in another retail location. They chose not to. We have not dictated that for any of those services.
Raymer says the homeless population is different depending on where you are. She also says some people on the east side tend to be more fearful of those on the west side because they don't want to be around drugs or be preyed upon by gangs. The city chose this old fire hall on Central Avenue in Sutherland to be a shelter last year. Residential outcry scrapped those plans and resulted in the city requiring any shelters be 250 meters away from an elementary school, forcing administration to search elsewhere. And the mayor knows choosing any location isn't ideal for nearby residents, but she wants to work together.
It's almost never met with an applause by most people because change can be scary for folks.
The shelter on 31st Street is slated to open next September. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, Jeff, it was another lovely day out there and more on the way for the weekend.
That is true enough. And we've got ourselves temperatures that are going to continue to be well above seasonal as we say bye-bye to summer and hello fall. Or autumn. That's going to show up on Monday. But the temperatures are certainly going to feel summer-like as we make our way into the first few days of fall. Let's take a quick look at what's going on in the satellite and radar shot. I've been yapping about this low down in the American northern states. Well, it's sort of anchored in Minnesota now, but really starting to have an impact on Manitoba and parts of Ontario, but not so much Saskatchewan or Alberta. And temperatures are looking very warm and conditions quiet, and we'll talk about that in a bit.
Fresh off a trade mission to South Korea and Japan, Saskatchewan's Minister of Trade and Export Development is heading back to Asia. This time, Warren Kading will be heading to Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand to bolster trade relationships. He'll also participate in a business forum on Asian-Canadian trade in Malaysia's capital, speaking on agriculture and food security. Saskatchewan's exports to the three countries are worth a total of more than $1.2 billion. Some brave youngsters left their mark today at Jim Pattison Children's Hospital. Kids affected by cancer and other patients at the hospital bringing some color to a white vehicle as part of a handprint ceremony, part of the Hyundai Hope on Wheels campaign. Each paint symbolizes the courage and unity in the fight to end childhood cancer. This year's campaign saw $100,000 donated to Saskatchewan's Children's Hospital.
The funds that we have been donated by Hyundai Canada will be used to help the families and the patients through this difficult time, but it'll also contribute to research and making this time as painless as possible throughout the process.
Last year, Jim Pattison Children's Hospital saw more than 3,300 pediatric oncology and hematology visits. Back to one of our top stories now, to the dismissal of a Saskatoon police officer who was fired for a friendship with a gang associate. As Stacey Hine reports, the former sergeant testified at a hearing today about the relationship and why he says he should get his job back.
Sergeant Robbie Taylor says he wanted to be a good influence and help his friend better his life.
The longtime officer was fired in March over his friendship with a person associated with the Hells Angels, who can't be named due to a publication ban. During his appeal hearing, Taylor said his own family experiences shaped his policing, speaking about his brother who died from a drug overdose in 2017. He said he's helped others in recovery, pointing out a woman who drove from BC to support him at the hearing. Taylor said he became a police officer to make a difference, a message his lawyer echoed.
This is actually him living the oath that he took as a police officer. We see the police officers in Saskatoon with the phrase on their website, Saskatoon police officers want to be the difference. That's the quote, and that's what he was for many people, and he's trying to be the difference for the individual here.
Taylor said he met the associate at a business over a decade ago. He said he knew of his friend's criminal past and gang ties, and said he warned the associate not to spend time with Hells Angels members. He also said the associate has no reason or desire to be involved in crime after a lottery win left him with a significant amount of money. Taylor also said he never hid their friendship and only learned it was an issue when he was suspended. Earlier, Police Chief Cam McBride testified there's no evidence Taylor misused police databases or leaked information, but said the friendship undermined public trust in the service.
Proceedings continued Friday after the hearing officer dismissed an abusive process application by Taylor's legal team. The hearing is running longer than expected, with the next date to be set sometime in the coming weeks. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Efforts are underway to increase education and awareness about disabilities in Saskatchewan. As Damien Smith reports, the hope is for better understanding and support for people facing challenges that aren't always visible.
The Saskatchewan-based band, the Dripping Honeys, showing their talents at the Artesian. The group is made up of 5 people with disabilities, including Amanda Zielinski, who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. She says that the performing arts have always been like therapy to her.
What I feel the arts mean for everyone in the disability community is that they can be pretty surprised on just how they can expand on talents that they never knew they had, and at the same time, creating true allyship and friendship in all sorts of places.
The performance is a part of a larger discussion about disability accessibility in Saskatchewan. After a 3-year process, Axis of Access was given out to audience members by Listen to This Community and Saskatchewan Arts Alliance. The 12-page document hopes to push forward several calls to action.
Such as being hospitable and kind to people who come in who might have needs that you're not familiar with, or also not treating a person either like they're not there or there's somebody to be pitied.
Shaylee Rosnes, an actor who works with both the Dripping Honeys and Saskatchewan Arts Alliance, sees a day like today being a positive one for disability education.
I'm very, very proud of the team that worked to put this together and how everything came together so nicely, and just let it be a really impactful event, both through letting art speak and through the document that we've created.
It's a reminder that something like the arts can always bring people together.
The work we do really gives people a sense of community, and so I think that part of that is really what keeps people coming back to, performances, events like this.
It's like music to the ears of those to create more access for everyone in the arts. Damian Smith, CTV News, Regina.
As legions across the country struggle to keep their doors open, a group of veterans in Moose Jaw have reason to celebrate tonight. Jacob Carr takes us to the grand opening of a new legion in the Friendly City.
A bagpipe procession officially welcomed dignitaries and members of the Royal Canadian Legion Moose Jaw branch into its new building on Friday. After nearly a century at its old location, President of the branch Christine Simpson says it was time for a change and a smaller space, and seeing all of the community's hard work come to fruition brought out the emotion in Simpson.
Very emotional. Everybody that's put the time and the energy and the thoughts and the progress that we've made from a year ago when we got this building.
Longtime branch member and volunteer Esther McCauley was chosen to cut the ceremonial cake, which displayed a side-by-side photo of the old building and the new one. McCauley says it was a no-brainer to choose to volunteer since her husband is a veteran.
I've only been here about 29 years as a member, but I worked here for 10 years, selling Nevada tickets and a janitor when I first started. I run the crib on Tuesday afternoon, and I help with bingo on Monday night.
Simpson shares a similar sentiment, having served in the military herself from 1974 to 2001, with multiple stations in Canada and a stop in Germany. She has been a Legion member since the beginning of her military service.
This is our reason for being, to look after veterans and their families and the RCMP, and it just, when everybody comes together like they are today, it makes your heart, it's really full, and it's been a great day.
Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, Canada and Mexico make a pact on trade, what it means going forward. Also, how Ottawa plans on curbing hate crimes, but how far will the law go? You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Canada and Mexico have agreed to a strategic partnership, vowing deeper ties in the face of Donald Trump's trade war on both countries. The U.S. is expected to make major demands during renegotiations of the trilateral trade agreement known as CUSMA. CTV's Judy Trin has the details from Mexico.
Look at that pride of Canada right there.
Prairie wheat being offloaded from a Canadian train in Mexico. A choreographed moment to emphasize how improving rail lines, ports, and pipelines can lead to economic growth in both countries. The Prime Minister's strategic partnership with President Claudia Sheinbaum aims to boost trade with Mexico. The results will be tracked.
Every 3 months, there will be an accountability mechanism for us to reconvene with Mexico, and in particular, the ministers responsible for the various items in the action plan.
The plan also calls for more cooperation in fighting drug cartels and human trafficking. But analysts say this meeting was more about concerns that the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement is unraveling.
It really is about making sure that we're singing from the same songbook, and that Mexico and Canada are not going to get played off of one another.
This after some troubled trade history. During the first Trump administration, Mexico signed a side deal that threatened a North American agreement. But these two leaders say they're committed to negotiating a continental agreement.
CUSMA, USMCA, is strength together. It's strength of the three countries together.
Now, after the U.S. launched public consultations, Canada is doing the same.
Formally, the beginning of the Canadian consultative process with Canadian industry, businesses, workers.
In the meantime, LeBlanc will be visiting Washington in the next few weeks to continue trade talks. He'll also be leading a trade mission to Mexico in the near future. All this as CUSMA is set to expire in June 2026. Judy Trin, CTV News, Mexico City.
The Liberal government has tabled its first legislation of the fall session of Parliament aimed at protecting communities against hate crimes by expanding federal hate laws. Crimes against religious groups in particular have been on the rise. CTV's Abigail Beeman tells us what's in this new bill.
The flames went up the door.
Cantor Henry Topaz's Montreal synagogue has been firebombed twice since the Hamas terror attack of October 7th, 2023. He says the government's new hate crime bill is a step in the right direction.
The idea of vulnerable infrastructure, notably houses of worship, are now more protected than they ever have been before. Tabling of documents.
Bill C-2 has 4 new hate-related criminal offenses, including making it a crime to promote hate against an identifiable group through symbols, including a swastika and those from designated terror groups, making hate-motivated crime a specific offense, and making it a crime to obstruct or intimidate people trying to access places of worship and other places like schools used by an identifiable group.
The prevalence of hate crimes in this country that steal those freedoms are something that should shock the conscience of every Canadian.
Statistics Canada shows police-reported hate crimes targeting religion have been on the rise, largely due to attacks on Jews and Muslims. In 2024, there were 229 Islamophobic attacks and 920 anti-Semitic.
The application of it is going to be really important to make sure that the right balance is struck between, making sure that Canadians still have, the basic ability to express themselves, and we're maintaining civil liberties.
The Justice Minister says that balance was top of mind when crafting the new bill. It's not clear yet what support this minority government may get from other parties as this bill moves its way through the House. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
An Irish rap group called Kneecap has been denied entry into Canada, accused of amplifying political violence. It comes as the band was to perform in Toronto next month. CTV's Alison Hurst explains.
The Irish rap group Kneecap, known for its politically charged performances, is barred from entering Canada.
Political debate and free speech are vital to our democracy. But open endorsements of terrorist groups are not free speech.
The group has 4 shows scheduled in Canada next month, 2 in Toronto and 2 in Vancouver. Kneecap has been accused of amplifying political violence and has faced outrage over seeming public support for terrorist organizations such as Hezbollah and Hamas. In February, the group shared this photo of a member reading a book written by a Hezbollah leader.
This message is that hate will not be tolerated, not in our streets, not on our campuses, and not on stage.
The band had to cancel its U.S. tour earlier this year after a member of the group was charged with a terrorist offense in the UK. Those charges came after videos emerged appearing to show 27-year-old Mo Chara wearing a Hezbollah flag over his head.
We've seen hate crimes go up by 50% across the country over the last few years. We have seen unspeakable demonization across our city in protests and in mobs, and we must do everything we can to keep our city safe.
Kneecap was swift to respond to the Canadian government, posting in part, "Your comments about us are wholly untrue and deeply malicious. No member of Kneecap has been convicted of any crime in any country ever. We have today instructed our lawyers to initiate legal action against you." Fans are sharing their disappointment. To them, the band wrote in part, "It is our view that when the government realized there was no legal basis on which to stop us, they today, via Vince Gasparo, sought to maliciously misrepresent Kneecap. We have played in Canada many times with 0 issues. We are sorry we cannot be with you next month."
I am outraged, honestly. Some people are not surprised. I am surprised because I never thought that I'd find myself living in Canada where the Canadian government would ban an Irish music group from entering the country just for speaking up against the genocide.
Canada is not the first country to do this. Hungary also barred the group earlier this summer, saying the musicians' presence in the country would constitute a risk to national security. Alison Hurst, CTV News.
The RCMP says it will resume searching for 2 children who were reported missing in Mural, Nova Scotia for more than 4 months. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan were reported missing on May 2nd from their home in Lansdowne Station. Cadaver dogs will be deployed to try to pick up their scent, a step the children's grandmother said should have been done months ago. Police have already conducted multiple searches for the children in the heavily wooded area near their home. Overseas, Estonia will start consultations with its NATO allies after Russian fighter jets violated its airspace today. 3 aircraft spent 12 minutes over the Baltic country in what the government described as an unprecedented brazen incursion. Italian Air Force jets in the region, as part of a NATO policing mission, responded to the incident. Estonia summoned a Russian diplomat in protest. It was the 4th time Moscow has violated Estonian airspace this year. Other alliance countries have reported similar incursions. Just over a week ago, NATO planes downed Russian drones over Poland. Demonstrators gathered outside ABC headquarters today to protest the decision to indefinitely suspend Jimmy Kimmel in the wake of his comments on Charlie Kirk. ABC indefinitely suspended Kimmel's show after he accused MAGA supporters of using the shooting of American conservative activist Charlie Kirk for political purposes. Many have accused ABC of caving into the pressure from the Trump administration and FCC Chair Brendan Carr. All right, Jeff, anybody with outdoor weekend plans is in luck this weekend.
They certainly are, because outdoor activities are going to be welcomed, embraced by Mother Nature, because we have some really warm temperatures that are on the way, certainly warmer than seasonal. A great way to wrap up summer and get ready for fall, because autumn does arrive on Monday. And then we still have summer-like conditions, at least temperature-wise. We'll talk about those later on, but let's take a look at some numbers right now. Right now, it is 24 degrees in Saskatoon, 20 in Prince Albert, 21 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, a little breezier in Toontown than it is in PA or the Battlefords. On to Saskatoon's almanac, a daytime high today, well over our current temperature, 24 degrees, 7 degrees above seasonal. Typically, we should be around 17 degrees this latter part of September. 13, I should say the mid-September, the Ides of September, maybe. 34 degrees in 2009. That was the record warm temperature on this date. The record cold temperature, once again, from 1918. I know it wasn't that case yesterday, but I think 5 of the last 6 days it's been 1918. So that was obviously a very cold week back then. 6:47 is when the sun came up, and it's going to go down at 12 minutes after 7.
Coming up, the dog duo turning heads. We introduce you to a man out for a walk with his wiener dog.
Concern continues over rural ER disruptions. Monday on Your Morning, what's being done about it? We're in conversation with the province's health minister. We'll see you then.
All right, welcome back. Let's take a look and see what's going on through the live lens of Skycam. And some clouds are out there, but for the most part, we're settling in for another warm evening and a warm weekend and a warm start to fall. So things are looking pretty good. So a nice shot there. Let's take a look at this system. Yes, we talked about it earlier on, continuing to have an impact on southern Manitoba, but really not impacting Saskatchewan at all. If any parts of the province got anything, it was the extreme southeastern corner. But all in all, it's been a very impactful storm for the American states, been parts of Ontario, Manitoba. A little something sliding into Alberta. Some parts of BC are going to be seeing not only rain, but alpine snow in the higher elevations. Our current temperature in Saskatoon, well, 24 degrees, 20 in Prince Albert, and 21 in the Battlefords. Our hot spot today, Maple Creek at 26 degrees. The cold spot, Kindersley at 4. Around the province we go, starting off the larger communities as we always do. 22 degrees in Lloydminster, 24 in Swift Current, 21 in Moose Jaw, 20 in Regina, and both Yorkton and Estevan in at 17. So a bit cooler there in those two locations. locations. Into central Saskatchewan and parts of the northern grain belt, fairly big range of temperatures here. Cooling, a cool 16 degrees in Nipawin and Hudson Bay, but it warms up to 24 in a number of communities, including Kindersley and Rosetown and Saskatoon. Up north, temperatures in the mid-teens in some respects. That's Sandy Bay, Island Falls. Otherwise, high teens, low 20s. And then we make our way down to southern Saskatchewan and a 10-degree range here from 15 degrees in Broadview up to Leader and Maple Creek at 25. One suspects the Broadview, Carlisle, and Melville areas may have gotten a little cooler because of some of that rain out of that system in the States. So our future casting is certainly indicating that, yes, that system continues to move towards Ontario and out of Manitoba, but across Saskatchewan and most of Alberta, really quiet conditions and, as I mentioned earlier on, warm temperatures. So in northern Saskatchewan, temperatures hovering around 23 degrees with a mix of sky conditions on Saturday. Temperatures a little warmer in Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, 25 for Meadow Lake, Spiritwood 24, 28 in Kindersley and Rosetown. Temperatures in the high 20s, hanging around that 28 or 29 degree mark for southwestern Saskatchewan. A little cooler in Yorkton, where it's going to be 23, 24 in Estevan with some morning fog, 28 in Moose Jaw, 26 in the Queen City, and 26 as well in Watrous, but 25 in Melfort, 24 in Humboldt, and 23 with a bit more cloud in Hudson Bay. Excuse me. Partly cloudy skies, foggy conditions, and 9 degrees. And then Sunday, we've got sunny conditions on Saturday for the Battlefords, 26. And here we go. I'm back. 28 degrees on Sunday. The Battlefords are looking pretty good. And fall arrives at 12:19 with mainly cloudy skies, 21 degrees, and then warming up to 28 on Wednesday. Pretty nice. For Prince Albert, partly cloudy skies with some fog patches showing up, 24 degrees with light and variable winds overnight into tomorrow. And then 27 degrees on Sunday, Monday 21, 24 on Tuesday, and Wednesday 26. And finally for Saskatoon, some foggy conditions with clearing skies, and then 8 degrees the overnight temperature. Tomorrow's high, 26 big degrees. And for Sunday, 28, 21 on Monday for the arrival of fall at 12:19 p.m. in the afternoon. 26 on Tuesday, Wednesday, 28, and 21 on Thursday. And 1 week from today, 23 degrees. Well, after the success of her Eras Tour movie, Taylor Swift is making her return to the big screen. Last month, the pop star revealed her album, The Life of a Showgirl, is on the way. And today, she announced she'll mark the October 3rd debut with a special cinematic release party. Audiences will get to see the world premiere of the album's lead single, plus behind-the-scenes footage on how The Life of a Showgirl came together. Swift says dancing at those screenings is optional, but very much encouraged. Well, well, well.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
The Muppets are coming back with some new content, starting with a special debut next year. Disney Plus has announced The Muppet Show will return with an event marking 50 years since that beloved original series first debuted. Waka Waka. It'll feature Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and the gang trying to put on a variety show along with special guest Sabrina Carpenter. She's set to serve as executive producer alongside Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's Point Grey Pictures. A Hollywood star has returned home and received Vancouver's highest honor. Ryan Reynolds was at Vancouver City Hall yesterday to receive the Freedom of the City Award, a rare honor given to those who've made a lasting impact. The Deadpool actor has donated generously to Covenant House and the Greater Vancouver Food Bank, and even surprised Kitsilano grads with pizza and a speech during the pandemic. Reynolds called the award humbling, saying Vancouver shaped who he is. The honor comes with a lifetime pass to city rinks, community centers, and swimming pools. Cannonball!
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What do you have?
Well, we have 3 lovely shots here, and we'll start off with this one. This one comes to us from Sharon, but it was submitted by Rita and by Rita Villeneuve, and they simply say, it's us. fishing on Christopher Lake. And that is a beautiful shot, wonderfully composed. So thank you so much for sharing that, Sharon. The next one comes to us from Tim, a foggy morning commute. Picture taken 15th Avenue in North Battleford. Ooh, it looks a little kind of spooky in that respect, but thank you, Tim, for that one. And finally, from Randy Ross, taken September 14th, about 15 clicks south of Langham. Hi, I took this picture of the Big Dipper, the balding, creaky trees, the greens and the pink, and it was warm. This is a Saskatchewan summer night. All right, and that's for sure. And we've got some nice summer nights still in store there, Randy. So thanks for sharing that picture of the Northern Lights. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News, when walking your dog gets a lot of attention, the dynamic duo turning heads.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
You could say it's a story about puppy love and how one man is going the extra mile to spread joy as he takes his daily walks with his wiener dog. A duo getting plenty of double takes. With more on why, here is John Venavelli-Rao.
Do you want to go for a walk?
That's the question Rich Lutchford loves to ask his best friend Maya, a tiny dachshund whose daily walks involve more than the usual gear.
Go on then, let's go.
Because Lutchford, hoping to fetch some smiles, aiming to turn heads with an inflatable suit that has nothing to do with Halloween.
Just thought it would be funny.
Lutchford, who works as a roofer, simply started regularly walking Maya in public dressed like this. A wiener dog walking a wiener dog.
People kind of look at me like, what is this? Other people are smiling, and I point at them and say, that's what it's all about. That smile. Have a great day. Yes! Have a great day!
Lutchford hoping to add some levity to a world that could use it right now.
Yeah!
And this, the kind of response he gets everywhere he goes.
I've had literally people scream, stop, say, oh my gosh, and then drive off.
And of course, everyone wants a picture. What do you love about it?
Everything. How he's walking in public like that. I love it.
I think it's great. Lutchford also posting videos of himself doing things like going to the dog park and wandering through a grocery store. All sorts of local groups are now asking him to make appearances. The mayor of neighboring Whitby noticed and awarded him a certificate, acknowledging the joy he was bringing to others.
I thought it was pretty cool.
So what does Maya think of it all? Lutchford says she gets excited when he puts on the suit.
I think she likes me more as a dog than as a human.
And Lutchford, he plans to keep on warming as many hearts as he can, leaving his mark one smile at a time. John Venavelli-Rao, CTV News, Oshawa, Ontario.
When we come back, a veteran curler hangs up his broom, and later why a couple of superheroes dropped in on a Winnipeg store.
All right, welcome back, and let's take a look at our rural forecast for Saturday, and it's going to be a warm Saturday, certainly warmer than seasonal, and some places getting quite toasty. Look at that, Lloydminster 27, 28 for Outlook and Kindersley, and even as we make our way towards places like Hudson Bay, which weren't particularly hot today, we're looking pretty good, 23 degrees, 24 in Wynyard, and as we make our way into southern Saskatchewan, we have temperatures of 22 degrees in Carlisle, 23 in Broadview, 22 as well in Kenora, but as we make our way towards the western side of the province, check it out. 29 big degrees in Leader and Maple Creek, 26 for East End and Cypress Hills and Rockland, and 27 for Assiniboia and Coronach. So, yes, some very warm temperatures out there. And what about Lanigan? Well, Lanigan's looking pretty good. We've got ourselves mainly sunny skies, 26 degrees, winds out of the south at 15. So, all in all, a very pleasant day shaping up in Lanigan. And Lanigan is one of the many communities where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Canadian curling superstar Brad Gushue has announced he is retiring from competitive curling.
I still love the game. It's all the other stuff that, over time it starts to go, tip in the other direction.
Gushue announced on social media he will be stepping away after this season. This means he has one more year to add to a resume that already includes 6 Brier championships, along with gold and bronze at the Olympics. Gushue says he is stepping away to spend more time with his family, but he will always stay connected to the game. After coming up just short of the league championship last year, the Saskatchewan Rush are out with their 2025-26 schedule. They'll open the season at home December 6th with a rivalry matchup against the Calgary Roughnecks, the first of 9 Rush home games on the year. The team will end the regular season with a 3-game homestand in March and April. Retail sales were down in 5 provinces in July. Mural Fernandez explains why.
Overall, retail sales dropped in July, coming in just under $70 billion. Sales were down just under 1% overall, but 8 of 9 subsectors dropped. Consumers scaled back on buying clothing and accessories, sales dropping about 3% there. Sales at grocery stores dropped 2.5%. Here's a look at how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar's up to 72.53. West Texas Intermediate is down to 62.70. Western Canadian Select is unchanged today at 51.55. And the TSX shot up more than 300 points today for another record close at 29,768. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mural Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon currently at $1.34 a litre. That is down. The lowest price in town, $1.26.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco jumped $5.40 today, and Nutrien finished the day at $78.14. Coming up, the artist behind a mural built brick by brick. Then what if Yoda came from Alberta, or at least sounded like he did?
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with the CTV movie Avengers Endgame. Well, Batman and Superman have teamed up in Winnipeg to fight the forces of evil. These Lego superhero characters are part of a new mural by artist Rachel Lancaster. The theme on the building is appropriate since the store it's on is called the Little Brick Company, which sells and trades Lego. In addition to the Lego characters, Lancaster says she worked in a tribute to another artist who often paints outdoors. Lancaster says it took her about 15 hours to paint the piece, and she hopes that kids really enjoy it. It's not a lot of time to create that work.
I know. That's very impressive. For 15 hours of work, that's super cool.
It is. Very neat. All right. Well, a comedian from Edmonton is gaining a large following online, making fun of what he calls an Alberta accent.
If you can go out and party with the boys, then you can get up and work with the men, okay? And buddy, listen, I'm not trying to be a bad guy here. I've been known to buck a few.
He's giving major moments like this one a twist. Drew Bem questioning what famous characters and actors would sound like if they talked like he did. He said the idea came about when he was having a tough time booking gigs as an actor because of his so-called Alberta accent. His first video like this one garnered about 2 million views. So I guess he's taking his disadvantage and turning it into an advantage.
Yeah, you never know. He might get cast in something.
This is true. If not, he's entertaining us in the meantime. Right?
Sure.
All right. We are headed into a very warm weekend.
Very warm indeed, and it looks like we're going to start off warm tomorrow. You know, we've got ourselves some pretty warm temperatures, and we'll just let you know that here we go. I'll give it a click and we'll rock and roll. Here we go. We got ourselves 13 degrees tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Not much in the way of wind. And even when the wind does pick up a little bit, it only picks up a little bit. By noon, already 19 degrees. Mid-afternoon, around 25 degrees. 5 o'clock, 24. So we have got ourselves a warm Saturday in store, and it looks as though that's going to continue into Sunday and the beginning of autumn.
Absolutely. All right. Well, speaking of autumn, you may have noticed that the trees are starting to turn. The leaves have been more fall-like recently. And one of our photographers, Chad Hills, ventured out for us with his drone and took us these stunning images of Saskatoon at this time of year. Have a great and safe, happy weekend.
See ya.
Thanks for watching.